So, just for comparative analysis purposes, I thought it would be beneficial for us to kind of see the context of where does Vedanta lie, or the mysticism of the Vedas and yogic mysteries, and where that lies in correlation to an association with other traditions. So, when we talk about mysticism, we're talking about that kind of direct, that direct communication with God. It's spiritual. I see it as spiritual, not religious, while I see these other faith traditions as more religious with dogma. But mysticism is more about oneness. They share a lot of different qualities and characteristics that are the same with each other. So Kabbalah is to Judaism as Course in Miracles is to Christianity. Sufism is to Islam as Vedanta is to Hindu. Okay? It kind of makes sense to us. And then the saints and sages and rishis, I thought, we would just kind of, Moses in Judaism, but there are various channels for Course in Miracles. Although Jesus is seen as more as the Christ consciousness in Course in Miracles, right?
The voice.
The voice. And Muhammad in Islam, Vyasa, Valmiki, and Shankara in the Vedantic tradition or Vedantic philosophy. And God, who is God? Well, in Judaism and Kabbalah, God, Yahweh. Or Hashem. Holy Spirit, Course in Miracles. Allah in Islam, and Brahman in the Vedantic teachings in Hinduism as well. Do I need to go back? No.
Okay.
You sure? Go ahead. No?
Well, we're going to get the
Yeah. So Brahman is God, and that's Om, right? And then just to kind of explain, the way I like to understand it, or the way I do understand it, is as if I was in a plane, and when I've hit 30,000 feet, and this is really cool, and I have taken some pictures of this, where you look down and you see the clouds. You're in your seat in the airplane, and you're above the clouds. And that's where I feel like way above the clouds is Brahman, is God, in the everythingness and the suchness and the no-thingness, right? And then somewhere in between us, down here, in this matter, in this cosmic illusion, in this Maya space, this earth space, if you will, somewhere in between, sort of above the clouds, is what we call Ishvara. Ishvara. And Ishvara is God manifest, for lack of a better word. God manifest. And God manifests through many things and many entities. So here, the Supreme Soul, the Oversoul, the Supreme Self, the Blessed Self, this is what we mean by when we're saying, when Swamiji says the Blessed Self adorations, he's talking about the Supreme Self, the Oversoul, the Supreme Soul, right? Which is God. Is attached, is made up of the same ingredients as Brahman, right? Brahman, God. Ishvara is in between, if you will. It's energy that is in between God and us. God and us. God in this Jivatman. And so is it the heavenly realm? Yes. Yes, it's the heavenly realm. And in this heavenly realm is where Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara live, if you will. I say live. I just mean kind of exist. What do we mean by Brahma? Brahma is the creator, the beginning of everything, the beginning. Now in Catholicism, we were taught, I was taught, Baltimore Catechism, that God created the world. God is the creator. So it becomes very confusing when you think, well, Brahma is the creator, so Brahma must be the top dog. But the truth of the matter is, in Hinduism and in the mysticism of Hinduism, the Vedantic teachings, we understand that actually it's Vishnu who's the sustainer, who kind of like is kind of behind the whole operation, and then kind of goes to Brahma, the creator, and says, create. He like nudges him to create. So that would make it sound like Vishnu's in charge. But the truth of the matter is that no one's in charge. No one's better than, or greater than, or more important than. Each has a function or a purpose. Because God is God and Brahman is Brahman. End of story. Period. There is no one other than that. And it's not a him, it's not a her. But there are these other entities that are in this Ishvara, if you will, which is manifest Brahman. Think of it like unmanifest Brahman and manifest Brahman. Think of it as the absolute reality, and then think of apparent reality. Right? So what is unmanifest is unseen, is unknowing. It's the eternal Tao, cannot be told, right? It's that. So it's unmanifest Brahman, or unmanifest God, if you will, is here, off the television set. It's not even on the PowerPoint, kind of thing. Ishvara is manifest Brahman. Manifest Brahman, how God like interacts with us and how we are here. And the way to get to God, for those of us who are human, who need a person, need a thing, need a face, need an image, enter Brahma and the female version, female consort, if you will, Saraswati. Saraswati, creation, mother worship. When God bless you, God bless you, God bless you, Brahman bless you, Brahman bless you. So Saraswati energy is divine knowledge and creativity. When you feel that you're in a creative project, or you want to create something, or you want to birth something, you're birthing a new relationship, you're birthing a new thought, you're birthing a new project. God bless you too. God bless you.
You guys passing it on.
God bless you.
Oh my God.
Manifest sneezing.
Who's next?
When you're birthing something, Saraswati is in the house. Brahma is in the house. Brahma is seen as more of a male entity or male image, has more masculine energy, and Saraswati is mother. Mother worship is all contained within Saraswati. Lakshmi is blessings. But Lakshmi is the feminine, if you will, the feminine energy of Vishnu. Vishnu, we see sometimes he's on the back of like this big snake shell skin. Vishnu is all about sustaining. So we've got Brahma. Brahma's the creator, the beginnings. Vishnu is a sustainer. And then Maheshwara, which is Shiva energy, and Durga energy. Shiva, Durga, Kali, right? This Shiva energy is Maheshwara, is the endings. Everything in life is a beginning, a middle, and an end. Everything in our cosmic illusion, everything here in manifest Brahman, if you will, has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Tell me one thing that doesn't. Can you?
Palmetto bugs. They don't seem to have an ending.
Death never ends, really.
But they actually do die, and then others come back tenfold, right? And actually, when they're adolescents, they're white. Did you know that?
Oh, no.
Albinos. Yes,
No.
they have like albino shells.
I haven't seen that.
Okay, enough about
I
that.
want to.
So, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. And Vishnu, this is so cool because Vishnu has avatars. Vishnu sends, because you see, Ishvara is here, right? Ishvara, which is just the manifest Brahman, manifest God. Through Vishnu, the sustainer, no, there's nothing. Sends us incarnations of itself. So, Vishnu energy is present in Krishna, in Ram, in Buddha, in Jesus. incarnations, and there's other incarnations. It's very confusing, it doesn't matter, and I'm gonna go over this in class when I do talk about Hinduism and the gods and the goddesses. So I will talk about those avatars and name them. But the most important ones for us to know is, I mean, everybody knows Jesus, no?
Right.
Now, Hindus would argue and say, oh, Jesus is not an avatar. But Swamiji says he is,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe Swamiji. So, you know, the fact of the
So
matter
is
is,
Yogananda.
huh?
So is Yogananda.
So, I mean, the fact of the matter is that the Puranas, which were written in like before Jesus' time, the Puranas, like, end with Buddha. Like, they end with Buddha. By the time, like, Christianity really became Christianity and what it is, if there was a part 2, perhaps they would include Jesus. I don't know. But Swami Jyotirmayananda says yes, and so does Yogananda, you said?
Yes.
So, Jesus is an avatar, meaning what? Like, we're stupid humans. We're from Missouri. Show me, show me, show me. I have to see it. I don't understand. I can't, you know, the unmanifest Brahman is too hard to grasp. I need a personal Lord and Savior kind of thing. You know, I need somebody to show me what it's like to walk this earth and do it like I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why Vishnu sent Krishna. Right? So Krishna explained to Arjuna how to do it, how to live this battle. Life on life's terms.
Did Krishna supposedly manifest into a human being?
Yes.
Yes.
Krishna was a human being?
Yes, and if you, and here's
So
another
was
fun fact,
Ram.
that if you look at the Krishna, like, story of his birth, of how he was born, and and all of it, it's Jesus. It's the story of Jesus. It's the exact, like, storyline, almost, to the T. So that's very interesting, you know, to know. And Krishna
But he
is
was way before Jesus, right?
Krishna, yes.
Krishna was, yeah.
Yes. And Krishna is, you know, usually depicted as he plays the flute, and he's always on one, you know, on his one. He's doing his yoga position, and we want to be. But all of this is mystical as well, just like the Christ consciousness. It's like if you ever read Deepak's The Third Jesus.
Mm-hmm. I read that.
Does it matter if Jesus existed? Does it matter if we can pinpoint exactly, you know, all the things that he did? You're missing the boat then. You're missing the whole point. We want to embody the Christ consciousness. And the same thing with Krishna. There's a reason why Krishna has a flute. Why? Because we're a flute. We're the instrument in the hands of the divine. And Krishna brought us the yogas. Krishna brought us the 4 yogas to teach us how to live life. All right, so I'm big into, like, charts and I'm linear and stuff like that. So I don't know if this might be boring you to death, but if you look at the direct contact from Brahman all the way, same ingredients, that's us, individual soul, the Jivatman. We're made up of the same ingredients as Brahman. And that's why the bottom line is we should never be worried or fearful because nothing's going to happen. Like, nothing happened. In fact, it's a cosmic illusion. It's a dream. Now, this is very abstract stuff, no doubt. And that's why for some, a little too hard to swallow, little too hard to, I need a God to pray to. Hanuman, please do me a favor. Make this impossible thing go away. You know? Can you please help me move a mountain? You know, Hanuman's great for that, right? We're human. We need these things. From when we were children, we wanted to see that little rattle, and we wanted to see the mobile go around. We have to see things. That's the way we get through our intellect. It's the only way sometimes to get through. So, Manifest Brahman helps us with that. And that's Hanuman, Ganesha, Shiva, Ram, Jesus. But the bottom line is, well, we could just cut right to the chase. And that's really why this arrow is here, because you could just cut right to the chase. You could just go right from the, oh, I know, I'm God. Tatvamasi, I am that. Om Soham. Om Soham. I am that. I am that Para Brahman. Para Brahman. What does that mean? That means same ingredients as God. Soul, God, body, doesn't matter. Only matter. So the major principles of Vedanta is that the divinity of all, we are all divine. Namaste. Namaste. What does that mean? It means the divine in me recognizes and sees the divine in you. We're one. There's no separateness. Isn't this A Course in Miracles? Isn't this all about the forgiveness piece? Is about remembering. Isn't that the holy
Remembering.
instant, right?
That's right. Yeah, the holy instant.
One source of all, the one. We're all connected to that source. And Om Tat Sat, we say in the ashram, Om Tat Sat, the absolute is all that is. This truth I know is you. Same thing in the Sikh tradition, which when I go into it in class tomorrow, I will talk about the offshoots. Actually, Dean Laurie talks about the offshoots of Sikhism and Buddhism. They all originated with Hinduism. Tatvamasi, thou art that. Om Soham, I am that. I am that, I am that, I am that, I am that, I am that. That's what our mantra is. Om Saham. Om Saham, Om Saha, Param Saham. What? I am that, I am that, I am that. Are you okay? Is he okay?
Am I supposed to know he's
Is
okay?
he okay?
I'm feeling like
Is
you.
he okay?
Oh, yeah, I dropped the paper towels and I went to go in to get it. And it knocked me
Are
in the
you
head.
alright?
Yeah.
See? I am that, I am that, I am that. Alright.
I am that, I am.
Oh, and what did God say? Jesus
am
say? Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Tatvamasi, I am that. Right? And Wendeaho, in the native tradition, in the actual Cherokee, I am of the Great Spirit. All the same stuff.
In the burning bush. Who am I?
I am.
I am
I
that.
am that I am. Should be. So, what is this? This is the cosmic illusion. If you look at that long enough, you will be under my spell, and then you will give me $500,000. No, I'm just kidding. Cosmic
That's
illusion.
Cool. That's great though.
Cosmic illusion, Maya, all these names and forms, this physical existence, and all of our embodiments is an illusion. So when I get caught up in that grief place, when I get caught up in that I miss my father place, I miss my father, I miss my aunt, you know, I miss my Carrie Ann, you know, how many fathers have I had? How many mothers have I had? How many aunts have I had? Certainly, how many dogs have I had? I've probably been a dog myself, which is probably why I love them so much, right? So it's all an illusion when we get caught up in this minutia. I lost my ID card. My Nova ID card. I found that out this morning because I went to go get it to the parking lot and I couldn't find it. So I've lost it. I can't tell you how long I obsessed on it. I obsessed on it. If I believe this, and I do, what am I upset about? Oh my God. And that's why pranayama and meditation, and for me, jnana yoga, which is this, what we're doing right now, which is divine knowledge and satsanga, helps me, reminds me, it's only a movie.
So when you lost your ID card, like the ideal way to respond to it is just, oh, now what do I have to do next to get a new one? And not even let it.
I mean, I guess give it, you know, look for it as much as you can, but it's that loop,
Let
it's
it
that
go.
hamster wheel problem, you know, it's just like.
Because when I was hit, but you know, yesterday in the auto accident, I absolutely was shaken to my core. I was, and I was sorry. I wanted to sort of be above it, but I was so, you know, like affected by it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because we're in this practical reality.
Yeah.
We're in it. We can't help it. We're in this human embodiment. You know, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, nevertheless having a human experience. And so in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, "Oh my wondrous Maya." He doesn't do it like that with his hand like an Italian, but he says, oh my wondrous Maya, how difficult you are to cross. Krishna's saying this to Arjuna. How difficult this is to cross, this Maya. When we get hit from behind, when we lose the ID card, and when worse things happen that shake us, we're still in this embodiment. I don't know. I wish it was Valmiki. Go ahead.
I think part of the spiritual practice is what you do with it once you've had the experience and the reaction.
Right.
You know, how does it define you afterwards, you know? And I use the example all the time of walking into my house while it was being robbed. I didn't stand there and say, I can see peace instead of this, you know.
Right.
I know. Instead, I ran out, I was screaming, I called the police, you know, there was a lot of upset.
Absolutely.
But then it's, what do I do with that story? You know, do I carry the victim
Right.
mentality around as a result of it? And I think that's a lot of what we learn through these practices, is that yes, we're having this, you know, this practical reality experience, and then it's up to us to decide how we're going to move forward from it after we've had our human reaction to it, and you know, have action, you know, whatever we have to grieve or repair, you know,
Exactly.
then we come back to our center instead of letting it destroy us.
Yeah.
You know, be bitter or be better as a result.
Yes, and I think that's why we have these examples, like, you know, the story of Ram and Sita, Hanuman, who's supposed to be God, supposed to be a god. He's supposed to be a god in that Ishvara, right? And yet, he hears the news that Sita's been kidnapped, and he flips out, and he's crying.
Yeah.
And his guru, who's a bear, Jambavan, says to him, why are you so upset? And he says, haven't you heard? They took Sita. They kidnapped her. What are we going to do? And Jambavan says to him, don't you know who you are? You're Hanuman, the son of Vayu, the wind god. Snap out of it. And then Hanuman remembers who he is. Why do we hear this story? Because we do that. I lost my ID card. Snap out of it. Don't you know who you are? You're the Jivatman. You're the soul. You're not this body. You're not this limited ID card. You're not this limited car. You're not even this limited body. But we need these reminders. You know, didn't Jesus be in the Garden of Gethsemane? Wasn't he crying? What was he always upset about? Let this cup pass from me. Why did he say that? He's God. Why did he say that? As an example for us, I think. That's my opinion.
He cried when Lazarus died.
That's right. So, how do we wake up? How do we wake up? How do we wake up? We can hit ourselves on the something on what was it? Was it the sink?
Cabinet or something.
Cabinet or something. We could do that. We could throw ourselves up against the wall and try to wake up and remember. How do we remember? One of the ways we remember is through through chanting. And so this is a beautiful chant called the Gayatri Mantra. And it's written here, Om Bu Bhuva Swaha Tasavatur Vanenyam Bargo Devasya Dimahi Diyo No Prachodayat. What does this mean? Bu Bhuva Swaha. Bur, the Burloka. This is this Maya, this earth, this matter, this plane of existence, the physical Bur. Burva is what? The emotional. So you have the physical, you have the emotional, and then Swaha is beyond that, is the spiritual realm. So what we're asking really is to go beyond all of these realms, to go beyond the physical, to go beyond the emotional, to go beyond the spiritual even, into the remembering. Into the remembering. And only God's grace can give us that. We can't get there through our intellect. But we can get there through the heart space. Get there through the heart space and through the experiencing of that. Right? With God's help. So you want to do this little bhuva swaha? You ready to do this? Om bhuva
Tatsavaturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhuvaswa Tatsavaturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Nah Prachodayat. Nah Prachodayat. Bhuvaswa Tatsavaturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Nah Prachodayat. Nah Prachodayat. Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhuvaswa Tatsavaturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Nah Prachodayat. Nah Prachodayat. Nah Prachodayat.
Besides the fact that this is, we make it fun, there's something in the words. There's something in the words, there's something in the, what Swamiji would say, the bhavana, the feeling that I place into the words. So it's not just the words like an incantation, but it, certainly can be. But it's the sacred mantra, which is so ancient, comes from the Rig Veda, the Gayatri mantra. And so if I say this, Om Bhuvasva Tatsavaturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat, with bhavana, who knows? Maybe you'll be as lucky as Valmiki, and you'll come to enlightenment. This is an awesome chant, and I love it because it really sums up the Vedantic teaching and the absolute reality and the manifest Brahman, unmanifest and manifest Brahman concept. And what it's saying is that unmanifest Brahman is already full, right? We know that. We know God is what? Omniscient, omnipotent, ever-present, all-powerful, all-knowing. Has always been, will always be. Has no beginning, has no end. Alpha, Omega, right? We know all of that already. So that is full, but then doesn't this seem full? This virtual reality we're on?
Yeah.
It seems real. It seems full. That's full, this is full. But though this fullness came from that still remains full. I always think about pizza when I do this. It's like if I have a bit, or my father used to say, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Which I don't understand. Why would you? I don't get it. But what he means is you can't still have your cake once you've eaten it, right? So if you have a big pizza pie and you take a slice, well, the slice is gone. Now it's not full. But with God it is, which also is very helpful when we're worried about finances and we're worried about how are we going to, is there enough help to go around for us? Did God run out of help for us? Did God run out of money for us? God doesn't run out of anything. So that the fullness of that remains full, even though this has been created from that. And then the other thing that's also interesting, and it doesn't say it here in the translation, is that this can't make that. Only that can make this. Right? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamadachate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vajishate. And that's what that chant is, which is just so beautiful when you meditate on that. What is the Vedanta? It's the philosophy of the Vedas. I kind of really already said that. We talked a little bit about the Upanishads. This is just a excerpt from that scripture. The self is everywhere. Whoever sees all beings in the self, and the self in all beings, hates none. Isn't that a Course in Miracles?
Absolutely, yes. Almost the same word.
For one who sees oneness everywhere, how can there be delusion or greed? That's what I'm saying. Nothing happened. It was all just a dream. He went to sleep. It's Wizard of Oz. It's Dorothy. You didn't have that big adventure.
Right.
There's no Wicked Witch,
Right.
right? And this Upanishad, there is fear from the second. That's where fear comes. Fear comes from the second. What do I mean by the second? And that's dualism.
Separation.
You know, one, you see, God is one without the second. Vast as the ether, infinite, eternal. Even beyond, we talk about the three gunas, you know, even beyond being good and doing good, God is even beyond that. Fear comes when we think there's an other, when we think there's a second. There is no second. All fear and all misery arise from our sense of separation, from the great cosmic unity, the web of being that unfolds us. Duality, our sense of separation from the rest of creation, is always a misperception. It's a misunderstanding. You misunderstood. You thought we were separate.
It's a song.
It is a song. It's a misperception because it implies that something exists other than God, and there can be no other. This is a very beautiful Upanishad as well. Swami Vivekananda said the self is the essence of this universe, the essence of all souls, and you are one with this universe. And anybody who says they're different from others, even by a hair's breadth, immediately becomes miserable. Happiness belongs to the one who knows this oneness, who knows that they are one with this universe. So, I'm going to show you a little cartoon.
Yeah.
Because we have to talk about this called the three gunas. The three gunas. The three gunas of sattva, rajas, and tamas. This is all now about karma. Have you ever heard about the law of karma? So karma is contained within the Bhagavad Gita. We first really hear about it in the Gita. So what is karma? Karma is action in our thoughts, in our words, and in our deeds. And every karmic action is either a rajas action, which is ego-driven, tamas action, or almost like an inertia, if you will, and sattva, which is pure, spiritual, light. You see this in yourself. You think about your thoughts. You can analyze your thoughts. You can have an inventory on what you're thinking in your head right now. Oh, I have things I have to do when I get home. I have to go. I have to do the laundry. I have to do rajas. This rajas thought, right? Or, when is this thing going to be over? Tamas. Tamas. That's a tamas thought, right?
What's Thomas again?
Tamas is dull and dark and inertia and lazy and dull and sloth and I just want to go to bed. I just want to go to sleep. You know, I can't wait to leave this place because I just can't wait to go home. Right? I don't want to do anything. I don't want to get up out of bed in the morning. That's tamas, right? And then sattva, which is pure and light and spiritual, right? It's a good natured, really, right? So everything we can think of, or everything we say, or everything we do, really falls into these three different types of gunas. And Swamiji would remind us that, hey, guess what? They're not all bad. Don't they? You know, Rajas is good. You want to, you know, you're going to seminary, right? You come into a class. That's good. It's driven by I want to learn. Well, that's kind of Rajas in a way. It's Rajas with a sattva dominant. Right? You know, I gotta go to sleep at night. I gotta go to sleep. Gotta go to sleep. You need rest, right? Tamas. It's okay, right? But if you pray before you go to bed, that's tamas with a sattva overtone, right? So you can always have, you know, these things can be combined. They're not always compartmentalized and separate. Let me show you a little quick, can I? A little commercial.
Please.
All right, let's just watch the gunas for a minute. Let's just watch the
We love the gunas.
Let's see, I'll do a funny one. I'll do the most recent one, actually. Where's the most recent one? Oh, let's do the law of karma. How's that?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Bad things keep happening to me.
Oh my God.
law of karma. It had been a terrible day for Thomas. As he left his therapist's office in a bit of a fog, he didn't look where he was going, and out of nowhere he was struck by a moving vehicle.
Oh my God, Thomas. What in the world happened? I can't believe bad things keep happening to you. What is going on?
While Raj followed behind the police, Thomas was taken to the hospital by ambulance.
Hey, Doc. Why do bad things keep happening to me?
Thomas, I hope you realize that our thoughts are very powerful. If you keep thinking that bad things are happening to you, bad things will keep happening to you. It is that simple.
No, Sati, everything isn't always so simple like that. Things keep happening. I'm not thinking it, it's happening. And then I think it's happening again. It's not my thoughts, it's actually happening.
Thomas, you must reframe how you view your life. Modern psychology calls the process of replacing negative thoughts with positive ones as cognitive reframing. And this type of mental reprogramming in the yoga practice is known as Praktikpakshabhavana.
Yeah, hi, Raj. Listen, they're letting me out of the hospital. Can you come and get me? I don't have any money for an Uber.
I can't come and get you, I am at work. Why don't you call Sati?
Oh, Raj, if I call Sati, the whole car ride he's gonna talk about karma and yoga and serenity, and I just wanna puke.
Thomas, as I was saying, karma is the accumulation of thoughts, intentions, and actions, both good and bad. Negative forces that you're creating through your thoughts are creating negative karmic energy. So, Thomas, the good news is that you have the ability to change your own life.
Well, if it's that easy, then I might give it a try. Can we stop and get some ice cream before we go home?
I was gonna say that's exactly what
What happened?
it looks like Swami Vindaloo at the bottom at the end.
Oh, hey, he didn't have a cast anymore.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
What's a
cast.
miracle? Oh, continuity problem. Okay, so Rajasic behavior, ego-driven. Tamas is the dull, kind of lazy, not wanting to do the work, and Sattva is pure light. So this is really kind of cool. I always think of Sanchit, which is karma's really broken down into these four, and actually Leonard Felder, thank you so much, he taught me last night about Agami, so I added this earlier. Sanchit is a storehouse of karma, what you have accumulated over your embodiments. So every time you have a good thing, every time you do a good thing, think a good thought, say a good thing. When I say good, for lack of a better word, so say sattvic, something pure and light. Every time you do that, a little bit of residue of that goodness goes into your storehouse of karma. All right? Every time you do something bad, it goes in as well, right? Then you're born. And when you're born in this embodiment, it's called prarabdha, which is, that's what you're born with, karma. Did you ever wonder? I always wonder, I wish I was taller. Why was I born, so short? But that's the prarabdha,
Yeah.
Why am I Italian? Why was I born in Brooklyn? Why, and when I was born, I was playing the guitar at 7 years old. I taught myself how to play, but I didn't, so I taught myself how to play. Where did that come from? That must have been another embodiment. Who knows what, I don't know. And then I was born into this beautiful family. This beautiful family, this religious family. My grandmother was a theologian. How lucky was I, And then some bad stuff happened in my upbringing and in my childhood. So, you know, a little bit of, there's maybe some bad karma in there, I don't know, but prarabdha was what I've been given to work with. I always think of it like clay. This is like this big wad of clay that gets shaped. And that's what I've been given, right? And then kriyamana is as you go karma, which you can actually reverse. I can't reverse the shortness. That's prarabdha, stuck with that, right? I can't reverse that. But I can reverse some of the other stuff, you know, like because I was on a real bad trajectory at some point, you know, in terms of my using and living life without recovery, and then I found recovery, and then now I can turn it around, right? 9/11 happened. That hurt pretty bad, you know, but I can turn that around. I can see the meaning in that, and I can turn that all around. That's kriyamana. That's as you go karma. And then agami karma is consequences that I'm creating right now. I'm creating in my present kriyamana later on down the road, you know. So when I make that little miscalculation on my income tax, that miscalculation on my income tax, or that exaggeration, or whatever it is, when you get that audit in the mail, that's agami.
What's the difference between the second and the third?
Well, kriyamana is just kind of as you go karma, and then agami is, hey, as you go now, this is going to affect your future. So this is your past.
So the second one accumulates and becomes the third?
Yes. Yes. But see, the prarabdha is what you're born with, and,
Right.
and that's kind of like what they say is sort of the physical matter of what you've got going on, right? But let's not forget that this comes from this, that the sanchit, the storehouse, it's like you take a withdrawal from the big checking account, and this is what you got going on right now, and then how I do it now, oh, I'm so negative, I hate everything, I hate everybody. Wow. Okay, not going to be good for you in the future, agami, right? Because you're like creating your future as you go. And you know, also the Hindus believe that and the Hindus and the Native Americans believe that we're healing not only the generations that have gone before us, but the descendants to come. We're healing them. The law of karma, similar to what you reap, you sow in physics. The analogous law, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. The law of karma simply puts the responsibility for our lives on us. We are the architect of our destiny. That is what Swamiji says all the time. We are the architect of our destiny. So what is this about reincarnation?
Welcome back.
What is it? Well, our real nature is divine. We're one with Brahman. It's only an illusion that we are born in a body, die, and get reborn. That's an illusion. All you got to do is wake up, and you don't have to keep coming back. You know, we say that in recovery, but you don't have to keep coming back. It's not necessary. But you know, I like I say to some people who talk about, you know, wanting to leave this world, wanting to check out. You know, some people who suffer very, very much from deep depression, they want to check out. You want to check out. Guess what? If you believe in reincarnation, you're gonna come back again, and you're gonna and that action, which is very Thomasic, by the way, is gonna come back to haunt you somehow. You know, you're gonna face that again. You're not gonna be able to get out of that. So why even bother? Why don't you just remember and wake up? And then you don't have to worry about any of that, because when we wake up and we're enlightened and we know the essence of who we really are, really all the time, in that state of constant remembrance, then everything is everything, right? And we don't have to keep coming back. And that's what's meant by beyond the three gunas, by the way. So the paths of yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, and raja yoga. And Patanjali, and that's actually incorrect. It's not 2nd century BC. It's 2nd century CE. Really, I think. I have to check that out. That might be something that's a misunderstanding there. I always get confused. I know that the Gita, you know, came first, and the Gita contains the 4 paths of yoga. But Patanjali's sutras came after that and really just kind of reinforced and expanded upon what was already written in the Gita. By Vyasa. Vyasa wrote the Gita. So bhakti yoga, path of devotion. For those more emotional than intellectual, bhakti is great. Bhakti is the path of devotion, adoration, method of attaining God through love and recollection of God, loving recollection of God. As with other yogas, the goal, the devotee of God, is to attain God realization, oneness with the divine. You know, so there's this beautiful guy, he lives in our neighborhood. This guy walks to church, I swear to God, like 5 times a day. 5 times a day. And he's always walking with his Bible. And he's back and forth. He's always wearing the same white shirt and, you know, blue pants, and he's always walking back and forth, going to church. That's a bhakti yogi. That's bhakti. You know, salat, doing salat 5 times a day in the Islamic tradition. This is bhakti. And you say, yeah, so but then how are you living on the outside? You know, like, you know, we used to goof about that as Catholics. You go to mass and you're fighting with people to get a parking spot. You go to mass and you're all holy, Hail Mary, full of grace, and then you leave and you're like, hey,